actually access my account to be able to use it
right.
once I'm gone. I'm not going to be very social after I pass away. So
right.
I don't think I need to keep social media going. That's one of the least of my worries.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely
yeah.
hope somebody took it down. I would hope somebody would take mine down. But
yeah.
I don't know. I guess people are weird. Yeah, I think it's really weird that people would use that service to kind of keep it going after they're gone. That's really creepy to me.
That really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody out there that's using that, I want to hear from you on the Ghost Chat Radio Facebook fan page. If you're using that.
I was just going to say, I could see like a very famous person whose children or something, they may want to keep social media going just for revenue purposes,
Yeah.
because it's free advertisement. I could understand that possibly. But just the average Joe, it doesn't make much sense to me why you would want to keep social media going.
I guess. I mean, let's
be like a dead book page. Where once you die, everything transfers over to dead book.
It's weird. I don't know, people. Let's just say that I really, really hope that's not the legacy that you're leaving to the world. That's yeah.
It could be a new series, a new TV series. The Social Dead. Like The Walking Dead. But
I don't know. There's a whole lot of social dead going on TV right now. How many more zombie shows can we have? Oh my God. Those are like
no kidding.
And I've watched them all, of course, because I'm just a fucking glutton for punishment. What about you, Jason? Are you watching them too?
TV shows, not too much.
No, I think I'm the big TV watcher here.
Yeah, I was hooked on The Walking Dead for several seasons, and I unfortunately lost track of the show a couple seasons ago, and so now I'm lost. And I may eventually go back and pick it up and where I left off and watch it on Netflix or something.
Yeah.
But the first few seasons I thought were really good.
They were. I'm watching it on Netflix. I lost track of it too. I've moved a few times in the past few years, and I got sidetracked. But yeah, I watch it late at night when it's creepy on Netflix, and it's still good. It definitely. You got to. I know you have some lazy movie watching days. I see it posted on your Facebook when I'm being creepy.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I rewatch movies because I don't know why, but it kind of sparks my creative side to put on a movie that I know by heart, and it'll just be playing on the screen while I'm writing a book or a magazine article or something. I won't really be paying attention, but I just like to have it on. I don't know why. Maybe I have this need to multitask. I'm not sure.
Maybe a little background inspiration.
Yeah, it could be.
That's interesting.
I have to have some kind of background noise. No
I like background. Yeah, I like it. I don't like a dead quiet house. I don't like that. I can't. It's not motivating to me. Even if I'm just cleaning or whatever, I like some noise.
Yeah, and then like if I'm writing something and I get a block or something, or I get to a stopping point and I'm not sure what to say next, then I can just stop and look up, and I already know the movie, so it can be right in the middle, and I can watch 10 or 15 minutes of it and then get back to writing, and I haven't really missed anything.
Right.
So that's, I've caught myself doing that before as well.
Nothing wrong with that. And I think that happens to every writer, if you want my honest opinion. I think every writer goes through that same kind of scenario. Yeah.
Well, I mean, someone was asking me, how to go about writing. What tips can you give me? And I tell them, write what you're inspired to write, and if you're not inspired to write something, walk away from it, because to sit there and stare at a screen, and try to make yourself write something, it's going to be crap. I'm sorry, it just is. If you've got to force it, it's going to be crap. And if you're not inspired to write it, wait until you are. it'll come if you really want to write. That inspiration will come to you.
I agree. When you do have that inspiration, the only problem you do wind up having isn't not what to write, but how to write it more than anything, because the ideas are just flowing. They're out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to say this, I want to say that, I want to say this. And next thing you know, you're having more issues trying to categorize what you're trying to put on paper than anything else.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the book I'm writing right now, I mean, I have outline after outline that have been corrected and recorrected and added to, and I'm sure it'll change 6 more times before the book is finished. But it's very true. I mean, I get those inspirational moments where, by moments I mean sometimes weeks, sometimes days, sometimes hours, but I get those moments when so much is coming in that I have to get it out, some way, and I know I can't write it all down that quick, so I have to just make notes and outlines and things. And then there's other times when it's just, I'm just totally uninspired. I don't want to write anything.
I have those moments too, and sometimes those moments last about a month or two, and then the next thing you know, you back up and you got 10,000 words down in the first 2 minutes of writing, and you just can't stop when those moments. A couple months can go by, and it's like, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I did that with the book I'm writing right now. I went several weeks and didn't write a word. I mean, I did jot down a few notes here and there on paper, but as far as actually pecking it out on the computer, I didn't write anything for several weeks. I just wasn't inspired to.
Now I got a question for you. That's actually a pretty good question, actually. As a writer who works with Annette, do you read your own books when you're finished with them?
Yes. I read my first book several times. It's a little shorter than the second one, though. But I read it several times. It's about 200 and some odd pages, 230 pages or 40. The second book, it's closer to the 400-page range, and I've read it once. Unfortunately, I caught a few errors, even though I had someone edit it for me for grammatic and punctuation errors and things like that, and still caught a couple.
Sure.
But yes, I do read my books after they're finished, because I want to, I know what the book is in my head as I'm writing it. But whenever I'm finished, I want to make sure that what the reader reads is what I think it says, and flows the way I think it's supposed to flow.
I get yelled at by Annette all the time because I don't listen to my own shows. I don't read anything I've ever written. I just put it out there and say, go with it. And I'll tell you why. Because first off, when it comes to a radio show, I just personally think I sound like a jackass anyway, so no less hearing myself. Now, when it comes to writing, and I know when it comes to writing books, it's a little bit different, but I've also been a writer ever since I was about 14 years old. Not with books, but with music and so forth and so on. And I've listened to my own work then, but however, I've learned that once you start, listening to your stuff over again or reading your stuff over again, you start second-guessing what you want to put in there. And I don't want to do that. I want everything to be as blunt and as honest as what I created, and then I send it off. Now, even after it gets edited, I still don't read it. And again, it pisses Annette off. She's always yelling. She's like, you got to start reading your stuff. I'm like, no, I don't. She could put anything in there while she's editing it. She could put some kind of gay scene involving me, and I wouldn't even know. Wouldn't have a clue.
Annette, let's talk about that next time. Annette, I'm going to call you. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, maybe we'll both call her. And if she hears it from a couple of different people.
I know.
Jason was really wanting you to do this.
You and I will write the scene, and we'll just have her slip it in there. It's right. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It'd be like a dream sequence.
Yeah, I love that. But I know what you guys are saying, because when I write things, I do exactly the opposite of what you just said, Jason. It doesn't even matter if it's a letter. I will read it and reread it and read it again, and it's got to flow exactly the way I want it to flow, and it's got to say exactly what I want it to say, how I want it to say it, and I will rewrite it. But I'm very good with punctuation. I don't need anybody to, do all that. I'm very grammatical, but I will rewrite it
too,
several times. It's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Or I have to think it's perfect, and then, someone else may catch something I didn't catch. But, before I will send an article off somewhere, I will rewrite it 5 or 6 times, and I wish I didn't have to feel the need to do that. I wish I did.
Off or before I publish something else, I always send it to Annette, and then her and Lisa gang up on me. And then they send me a big-ass email like a week later chastising me that, it's going to take 2 years before this thing gets edited because you don't know what the fuck you're saying. And,
Oh, God. But they love you. It's okay.
I can relate.
If you just send them back a note that says XO, I heart you both, it's okay.
It is. As long as I send back an XOXO, it makes everything all right.
It does. And it's all good then.
Nah, she doesn't do that.
You got to put a smiley face in there. A smiley emoji.
A smiley face.
It's all good.
I know. They are great girls, though, and terrific editors. If any of you need, in fact, I'm going to do a shameless plug for our good friends, Lisa and Annette. If anyone needs a fantastic publishing house, French Point Publishing, and you can find them on Facebook as well, or you can consult with Jason or Rick, who are both working with them at this time. Great girls.
Yeah.
They will help you out, and it'll be very, very professionally done for you as well. So, 2 thumbs up.
They definitely take their time and go over everything with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of like Jody on this. I'm a little bit of a grammar Nazi. My second book was, I don't remember the word count, but it was maybe 90,000 words. And
wow.
When I was finished, I sent it off to have someone proofread it just for grammatical errors or punctuation errors. It came back with about 7. And then I found a couple more when I was rereading it. So, one in 10,000 words, one error in 10,000 words isn't a bad average. But
no,
I'm a bit of an OCD.
Better than me. I guarantee they probably spent an hour on the first sentence with mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But,
no.
Now, Jason, have you ever self-published, Jason?
Self-published? No, I have not.
Yeah, see, that's the difference. My first book, I self-published everything myself except for the cover art. And I did have a couple of friends read it to look for any errors, but I put everything together and submitted it where I didn't have to pay anyone to do anything. So that kind of, I kind of was pretty tough on myself when I did that. So it made me a little more particular about how I submit things.
Yeah.
So when Annette and Lisa got my books, they were in pretty good shape, I guess. Unfortunately, there was some formatting problems with them, but
well,
but nothing grammatical.
Well, that's good. But so it was easier though, wasn't it? It was nice to have some help, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's got to be
fantastic people to work with.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of challenges to self-publishing, and I know a lot of people do it, but it's got to definitely present some challenges, and it's definitely nice to have the support, that comes with having some help as well, as far as getting the book out there and getting yourself booked in. Although I know you did a pretty good job promoting your first book as well, but you definitely want to start off the second book with a bang, which is great. And I loved your first book. For those of you that are just tuning into the show tonight, we just want to mention that we have Rick Keuber on the show. And Rick is a longtime friend of the show, and it's his second time back on. And he is an author here to tell us about his new book, the inspiration behind it, The Owls, right? And some other new projects. I know you love Hooters. We'll definitely probably have to talk about that. I don't